What's going on, everybody? Welcome. You know what I found weird and what irritates me like crazy is that people who have the most to say have the least to show. It's crazy. It's mind boggling. I know. But people who have the most to say or the biggest opinion about something or the most opinionated people that you know have the least to show when it comes to what they're criticizing, right? What irks me, what really burns me, what they call grind my gears, what really grinds my gears or what scuffs my Timbs is when people say, oh, that's easy, anybody could do that, right? I get that a lot as an artist. Whenever I see other artists or when I post art and people will comment on it and congratulate them and just admire the work, you know, there's always a few individuals that just have to throw their unsolicited 2 cents in, right? There's always the ones that say, oh, that's it? That's all they did? Anybody could do that. My 7-year-old niece could do that, or my 10-year-old son can do that. I got a cousin who's 5 who could do that. As if making art is easy. Or it'd be about music, right? Somebody come up, put an album out, and somebody say, wow, this album is really good, or I like this art, I like this music, I like this artist's music, or I really like the last album, stuff like that. But they got a good body of work. There's always somebody that'll say, they alright, they good, but they ain't that good, they okay. Now granted, it's an opinion, and everyone has a right to an opinion, granted. However, there's a difference between having an opinion and when you really being a flat out hater disguised as an opinion. And the difference can be, okay, if you disagree with something, fine, that happens. What are your qualifications for disagreeing? And really, are you even qualified to have an opinion? Because that's a very important part that people don't understand. When you have an opinion about something, it is to be assumed that whatever you have an opinion on, whether it be positive or negative, you have some knowledge, some history, some credibility in that particular field, that particular subject, to then make an opinion that can be respected amongst your peers or someone else, right? That's usually how that go. So if if a sports analyst has an opinion about an athlete playing, right, and it's a negative criticism, one of the few things that the athlete will say is, "You never played, so you don't have an opinion." That is right and wrong. People who have history in a sport, they can know history. They may not have played it, but they understand it. They have some type of stake in the game. They have some type of body of work that can show that they at least understand the game and what they're talking about. They're not just shooting out stuff just because, right? But when you know nothing about the game at all, like if it's about basketball and you've never played basketball, you've never covered basketball, you never even touched the basketball, yet you're giving an opinion about basketball, no one's going to take you serious. And then when someone asks you, okay, look, You're criticizing this particular player. However, you have absolutely nothing to your name that can tie you into that particular game. Even if you never played the game, you've never had interviews with an athlete, you've never covered the sport in any type of, whether it be high school, college, AU, professionally, nothing. You never covered basketball around the world. You've never played it. You never played music. You never played an instrument. You never sang a note. You never bought an album. You never talked to a music executive. You've never been in the music business at all. Nothing. You have absolutely zero skin in the game to even have an opinion. So when they say, okay, you the one that have the biggest opinions, yet what have you done for me to even take you serious? For me to even, not even take you serious, for me to even hear you enough to look your way to say, okay, what do you think? Even if it's a negative criticism, if you have absolutely nothing to do with the sport in the slightest, 0% whatsoever, yet you're doing the most talking, you won't sound silly and get embarrassed all day, every day, twice on Sunday. That's why I said people who talk the most have the least to show. Have the least to show. You can't say Jay-Z's a horrible rapper if you've never even tried to rap, if you've never recorded any music, if you've never been in a cipher, if you've never been in a battle, if you've never spit a freestyle, if you've never made an album, if you've never done any music at all, you can't really say Jay-Z is bad. You can't. Because anyone who's ever listened to Jay-Z music, whether you like his music or not, no one can ever say Jay-Z can't rap. You may say, I don't like his music. You may say his albums they're not good. But no one who's even been in music, who's ever spit a freestyle, who's ever even attempted to write one bar, will ever say out of their mouth that Jay-Z cannot rap. No one will say that. No one who's ever sang a note, who's ever been in a choir, who's ever written down music, who's ever recorded music, will ever say Beyonce can't sing. No one would ever say that. Why? Because if you have ever attempted to do a fraction of 1% of what any of them have done, you will understand what it actually takes to be the best. If you've ever even attempted to dribble a ball and you find how difficult it is, you will never then say LeBron James sucks. You will never say. If you have ever tried to shoot a basketball into a hoop and you find out how hard it is to throw in a spherical object up in the air, let it curve and come down into a cone-shaped object, you will find out how hard it is to do that. Then you will never say LeBron James sucks. You will never say Jordan sucks. You will never say Kevin Durant sucks. If you have ever attempted to try to play the game, you will never say that. If you have never thrown a football, you will never say, like, if ask someone who's never thrown a football in their life, ever, and then give them a football and say, throw it. Throw the football 10 yards. This person has never tried it before in his life, his or her life. Give them a football and tell them, throw the football 10 yards, their very first try. They will see how hard it is. And then show them a high school quarterback, not even NFL or college. Show them a high school quarterback and watch that high school quarterback throw a ball 60 yards. And they will say, wow, that's impressive, because I tried it one time and I can't do that. You see that right there? See that? People who have the most to say usually, most of the times, almost all of the time, have the least to show. So if anybody has an opinion or negative comment, I gotta just ask them, okay, since you have this big opinion about this thing, what have you actually done? Have you done more than this? Well, forget more. Have you done half of what this person has done for you to even say out your mouth something negative about this person? You can't call nobody anything if you have never even attempted it. So when you say something is easy, anybody could do it, or when you say, oh, this person isn't all that good, or if you say, I can do that, then the question I would have is, if it's that easy, how come you haven't done it? If it's that easy, then how come you are not at the same level, if not greater than this person that you're criticizing? See, and when you ask them that question, when you ask that person that question, they will never give you an actual answer to that question. The question would be, the statement is, those who have the most to say have the least to show. If you were to ask that person, well, since you were talking so much, what are you doing that can match up or surpass, or what are you doing that you can even have an opinion? Have you earned the right to have an opinion? If you ever earned the right to have an opinion, then you just need to shut up. Shut up and sit down. Sit down and be humble. Like Kendrick Lamar said, no, sit down, be humble. Yeah. If you don't know what it takes, if you don't even know what it takes to be 1% of what a person is doing, then you just need to be quiet. You just need to be quiet. If you never attempted it, be quiet. If you never tried it once, then you stop. Now, if you're gonna have a criticism, if you're gonna criticize something, the least you could do is say that I have dipped my toe in this in some form of fashion. In some form of fashion, like I did something in that area. I did something in that area. I didn't play sports, but I covered it, right? I don't play music. I'm not a musician, but I at least know I tried to play piano. I tried to write some music. I tried to understand how to read music. I tried how to understand how to read music. I tried it. I sucked at it, so that's how to go. No, I'm not an artist, but I've tried to paint. I've tried to draw. I've tried to draw something that I saw in a magazine. I wanted to do it just like I see in the book, and it came out horribly. I'm not a photographer, but I have tried. I've tried to take a few pictures. I tried. I have some experience. I have some shred of experience that can at least have me look at the window. I can at least window shop and say, okay, I see what it is, and I can go on. But if you have 0% in the game, if you have 0% in the game, if you don't even know someone who's been a part of that, then you can't talk. Those who have the most to say have the least to show. Be careful of them. And if you're that one who's commenting and speaking negatively about this video, I'm probably talking about you. Peace.